Hey y'all, welcome back to the ranch. I'm Jared Paul, and right now is the update part 2. I started inside yesterday, so if you missed that video, I just gave a quick update on all the activity of the plants and trees that I have inside. And now I'm going to take you around the ranch. We're going to take a look at the tree farm, raised tree garden, and the Japanese garden. So also I have some great, huge, full-size trees along the property, so I'll give you a quick shot of those. So they're building these monstrous $1 million homes and then up the street. So this is like a noise tunnel, and all the construction equipment, we've been hearing it all day. So anyways, I'm sure, where are you going? Hide it. Show the baby bump.
Can't see it through the jacket.
All right, so I'm sure these, we'll call them affluent people buying their $1 million homes aren't a fan of the ranch, but we love our one-story little flat here. Got 5 acres if you haven't been to the ranch before, and it's outlined in pine trees and spruce trees along the outside rim, and then we have nice sugar maples, apple trees, a little birch cluster, some more spruce, I believe, outlining the property. Now down in the back is the white spruce tree farm. That is, it's a Picea glauca, so we ordered 500 of them. Got 531 that we planted this past very early spring. They're all grown above ground, planted in sandbags with like peat moss and soil combination, and then covered in 4 to 6 inches of natural mulching wood chips. So yeah, the Honda's battery keeps dying because we haven't really used it. So we jumped it yesterday, and we got to run it for another half hour today since it's been so cold. We're looking at 20 degrees Fahrenheit here outside. This morning it was 14, so I was freezing at 5 a.m. So this is a Fraser fir. Pruned it up hard last spring and really got rid of all the cross branching because it was a nursery tree, so it hadn't really been pruned, just grown in full. So I took out a lot of cross branching, the branches going down, branches growing straight up, really cleared it out, and it filled in nicely over the spring and the summer and the fall. So I'm looking forward to refining that again this year. You see multiple apexes growing just way too high for the height of the tree. So these are flowering Rose of Sharon, and in a month I'll prune them down hard because they grow out really well and get all different shades of flowers. It's like what they call the northern hibiscus, so it's like a hibiscus flower. I've got some little babies in here. They've been growing for about 1.5 years. Hard to see with this color. There's like no sun out today. It's overcast completely. So I've got my fruiting plants here. All these are set against the garage, between the garage and the ranch, so that they could be protected from the wind over the winter. And then they're set up in about 6 inches of mulch underneath, and then I surrounded them. So then we've got nice planting with Thuja occidentalis and white pines, juniper down there. This guy hasn't received the pruning yet, this Jim Dandy winterberry, but I am really excited about that tree. So I don't know why the heck I planted it out at that angle. We might have to fix that. Some Japanese black pines, my Thujas, whole bunch of hemlock here, whole bunch more Thujas and pines. I think they're doing well. I'm not as concerned, knock on wood, about my winterization of my outdoor bonsais. I'm more concerned with the ones in the basement, since, you know, most of them are deciduous and lose everything. So this is my weeping cherry, and the buds are swelling. There's a ton of them. It was really sickly when we got it, and I chopped it down about 2 feet probably. So even though there's only branching going out to one side, I'm excited to develop this tree. And then we had Yamadori'd a bunch of Rose of Sharon from around the yard, little baby seedlings, and popped them in there with the hopes that some would survive. Got our blueberries. They're all budding up nicely. Blueberries, couple of apple trees. Now these guys, I don't know if the summer was just too intensely hot for them, being a potted apple tree, but towards the end of summer, like, they lost most of their leaves and weren't doing too hot, so I don't know. This is a absolutely fugly verbenum that I had gotten basically for free from a nursery, so I don't know what I'm going to do with that this year. I might take it down really small and put it in a smaller pot. We put in this new and improved doggy fence this year. Laura's family was getting rid of their fence, and I'm like, well, give me the old one because there's nothing wrong with it. So I recycled that. So got a hemlock from a landscaping job I did. She wanted them out. It was the fall, so it was the wrong time of year to dig them up. But these are 2 white pines as well. They don't look like they survived, but if they did survive, that would be cool. Here we have our star magnolia. It gives out star-like white flowers, and it just covers the entire tree. It's got a beautiful trunk. And you see buds are getting nice, growing daily. All right. So you see along this side of the property too, we've got the pines, and then you get back here and it's more deciduous trees. Over here, some Norwegian spruce. Laura's down checking out the chicken coop. All right, so here are the overflow of the white spruces from the tree farm. Let's see if we get the sun right. So you see they're like nice and dark, very sharp needles, you know, looking strong. Well, down in the tree farm, you'll see in a minute, all the trees are like a bright green, not yellow like they're dead, but a totally bright green. It looks like it's a different species entirely. So I don't know, I did a whole bunch of compost and grass clippings and stuff in here, leaves, especially underneath. So I don't know if these are getting continuously fed and that's why they have that deeper green color, or if maybe the soil's better in the farm and it's supposed to look that other way. I don't know. I guess we'll find out in spring. What's up, girls? We're gonna probably have to bring down some more hot water. Their watering tub froze. Every morning we top it off with some hot water, but it's been really cold today. Temps really dropped down. We got Boom Boom, little Lantana duck in there. And let's see if you could see in the back. Let's see if we could get Carl. So we keep the rooster and the one chicken he came with separately because our flock isn't accepting of new chickens. So there's Carl on the left. Beautiful coloring. He cock-a-doodle-doos from 4:20 a.m. until dusk. And that's Petra right next to him. So they have their own little hut. And then the rest of the chickens go in there. So these guys are battle tested. They survived a couple of raccoon attacks. And so when I put the other chickens in there with them, they just were like, we don't want you, and we're pecking them. So we have to keep them separately. Separating chickens. This is my life now. All right, so this fencing, calling this bunny gardens, because last year we did a raised veggie and fruit garden, and the bunnies just decimated the crops. So we've got 1, 2, and 3. They're about 20 feet long, the 3 different beds, and they're surrounded by that natural bark mulch as well. And then this is like a fine chicken wire, maybe 1 inch, so that I know bunnies can't fit through there. Repurposed a gate from the old chicken coop. So I'm excited about this little project. I really think we're going to do well with it this year. So I got a ton of mulch back here as well, and some topsoil with manure mixed in. So, geez, I've been meaning to get to it. I just haven't. I was going to refresh and lighten all the soil in here because I think it was just a little too dense last year. Not to mention, bunnies ate everything. But what they didn't eat didn't grow that well. So here we are coming down to my Japanese tree garden. So typically I have 3 Norwegian spruce sitting up here on this nice ash tree bench. And but I grouped everything together and kind of dug it down into the mulch for winter. So these I would call Japanese garden trees because they're larger. It would be my largest, I don't know, bonsai styles. I have a few Norwegian spruce. And then this is a blue spruce that's in a rehab phase. I tried to get it to weep and it just totally went against the nature of this tree. And so I'm letting it grow out probably a couple of years and then we'll style it traditionally. Some lavender just happens to be down in here because it smells good. So this place is coming together. I didn't put any stress on it. Just been adding to it as I get things. So pretty much got the layout of it. You know, got the chimenea in here. Nice little stump table. I like it. I think we've all established this as some sort of a locust tree. And I think it just makes the perfect complement to this garden because it is just so crawly and gnarly. I love it. So I pruned it up once last year. It'll get its second pruning this year. I keep a lot, like some of it's dead, but I love the flow of it. So I try to keep it as large and as wacky as possible. All right, coming down to the back of the property here. Got the state park pond there. Nice mountain with a trail and a tower you could climb to, and you could see 4 different states from that view. Now over here, I did mulch, but I didn't plant anything. So there's like a lot of weeds and, well, wildflowers really that grew up through this year, but I just left that. I tried to clear all this stuff up before winter hit. But I tell you what, these like goldenrod and wildflowers, they root like trees. It would take me like an hour, 2 hours to do each row of weeding, and who the hell wants to do more weeding than that? Not me. So here they are. You see that bright green color, and the needles are way softer than those dark green ones. So I don't know what that means. They're not brown, which is cool. So I have 10 rows of 50. And I'm telling you, like, the majority survived. So I got 531 of them. I probably have still more than 500 total between this one and the raised tree bed. And they're in these green sandbags, so the water's allowed out, but it does allow for some nice moisture retention, and it's great as a weed barrier. So, like, very few weeds actually grew up around these sandbags. So that was a success. Just using cardboard and then mulch in the other areas, nature won because the weeds just kind of took over. I kept up with it for a while, but then towards, end of summer, fall, it was just like, okay, these are ridiculous. And it generated a lot of bee activity and butterfly activity, birds. So I was like, you know what? It's not really bothering the trees, so let's just leave it. Excuse me. So they're all different sizes and shapes. I paid 30 cents a tree, and they were supposed to be 4 to 8 inches. So you see these, they're at least 1.5 feet tall already. I got tons of different sizes, shapes. So I'll decide which ones are going to be full size, which ones are going to be garden trees, and which ones are going to be bonsais. But for right now, we're just growing them. If you have any ideas what would be the easiest way to fertilize these going into spring, let me know. How the chickens doing?
Good.
Cool. Oh, thank you. So, yeah. That's going to do it for us today here at the ranch. Hope you enjoyed the outdoor update. Laura just got back from doctor's appointment, and baby Stella Lucia is doing great, growing at the right rate. She's healthy, so we're really excited. So I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day. We're going to go do a little celebration ourselves, and I'll see you next time here at the ranch. Cheers, y'all. All right, so I meant to do the basement yesterday when I was doing the first part of this update, but I saw that my phone was going to be out of memory very shortly, and so I ended it, and luckily I did because I got the video loaded by like the skin of my teeth. So here we go. These are all the trees. They're sitting down here, probably, you know, like 40 degrees, 45 degrees Fahrenheit, depending on the day, maybe even a little colder. It doesn't get to freezing. So I've got all my deciduous, my figs. You see some redwoods there, some zelkovas, tons and tons of maples, trident maples, some black locusts. You see my black locust planting. You know, I guess they're all asleep. Just makes me nervous letting these things go fully into dormancy, and then, you know, I've only had them a few years, so it's like, okay, am I doing everything right? The temperatures, am I keeping the moisture too high or too low? So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to spring and hoping that we succeeded this year. So it looks a mess. You know, it's nice and organized. I water probably every 7 to 10 days, not a ton, just to make sure they're not drying out. And, you know, everything's falling off. All the leaves are falling off, except for those redwoods, which I'd almost rather they'd fall off because it just reminds me of a dead tree. Even though these are called deciduous conifers, so they're supposed to lose their needles each year. But all right, so let's go ahead and get outside. Oh, actually, so this is a Lantana Bonsai that just it's a vine, so it goes absolutely insane, and I guess it's in its own period of dormancy, but it didn't lose its leaves, which is interesting to me. And that has nice light yellow or light orange, bright yellow flowers in the summer. Back there, my giant sequoias from the Murr Woods National Forest. They're still looking green and looking nice. So that's nice to see. All right.